Okay, so let's start with you with some questions about work take and remote take because you've been working yourself remotely, and same here. I've been working remotely since the lockdown. Hmm. So what do you think? So what do you think the COVID's impact on work tech and remote tech working tools so far?
Again, so what we've really been seeing is that in the African continent, again, it's an employer's market. So you have basically the mentality of that the employers are kind of dictating the terms. It's either my way or the highway. You still have banks that are using paper documents and different things like that to collect their records, all these different things. I'm sure you see it across the world in all developing markets. But again, we saw a lot of it going on here. And now that COVID hit, people realize that we have to change the way we look at these things. People were in a situation where either A, I can keep collecting money, I can find ways to keep running my business online or through other methods, or I can shut down and make nothing at all. So it was kind of like the thing that a lot of the younger members of the tech community were talking about with such energy and different things like that. Why aren't you doing this? Why aren't you doing this? Now they kind of got their use case in real life. And we see on both sides now that even in my own personal business working with Ingressive, the costs are lower on both sides. I'm not always having to go back and forth for meetings and different things like that. We all know how that different part works, but also it's having an amazing impact on the lives of workers as well. Again, you can go across the street in Lagos, Nigeria, and it takes 3 hours if you're in a car. So with that being said, as far as the remote tech and the work tech space, we're seeing a lot of different developments as far as these applications that are being pitched. We're seeing applications like of course, people have always used, like when you're looking at the finding work or the looking for work or how you organize work, you have these platforms like Upwork, you have Freelancer. If you're looking at how they're working on this or solving different problems within the continent, you also have platforms like Afterblocks and you have Andela. And these are all different companies now that are relatively new if you're comparing them to some of the bigger companies that we all know and love, your Googles, your Twitters. Twitter was able to send 4,900 people home and tell them all to work remotely. So now to see those type of moves happening now within the African continent, and actually being able to pull this off with the, with the infrastructure issues that we have as far as like steady power and different things like that, not as strong bandwidth with the internet and different things like that. These were the excuses a lot of these bigger brands were using, or these bigger companies were using to say that remote working or remote work tech is not something that they're focused on. Again, now they were forced to use it, and now that people are still working from home because it still makes a financial use case. Now you're seeing again different companies pop up. I mentioned Andela earlier. So Andela basically, at the end of 2019, they raised $100 million. Then they fired a quarter of their staff and then transitioned everything to working remotely. And again,